Hi, I'm Heather Wisely with Neighborhood Acupuncture and Healing Arts. I'm the lead acupuncturist and partial owner of the clinic here. Today I'd really like to talk to you about what to expect during your acupuncture treatment. I feel like it's so important that people come in fully prepared for their session and comfortable with the process that's about to happen. Before you ever arrive to our clinic, it's really important that you get yourself really comfortable. I advise having something to eat before you come so that you're not hungry and you're not full. Make sure to drink a little bit of water, and then when you arrive or right before you get to our clinic, make sure to use the restroom. We want to make sure to take care of all of those bodily needs before you arrive. So clothing-wise, when you arrive at our clinic, coming in loose, comfortable clothing is the most important thing. You want to be able to easily adjust your sleeves, adjust your neckline, pull pants up to the bottom of your knees, make sure that you can show any part of your body that you would like to be treated. If necessary, we can also have you disrobe, and we can use blankets and sheets to get you fully comfortable so that you feel ready for your session. Once you arrive, we're going to take you back into the treatment room. There are different ways we can do acupuncture.
Face down on the table. Or laying on your side. We could also set you up in a recliner. Remembering is that you settle in for acupuncture, comfort is king. We can add a towel. We could put a blanket on you if you're feeling cold. Just make sure and communicate to us your comfort level, and we can help you so you can find the perfect state of relaxation as you settle in for your acupuncture treatment.
The position that you're in with acupuncture isn't really as important to me as it is to you. It's really important that you are physically comfortable in your session. So if you feel comfortable laying down on a massage table, then we'll have your treatment that way. If you feel more comfortable sitting in a recliner, whatever is the most comfortable is what we'll work with. And we'll go through all of that in your initial consultation to make sure that we have you set up in a position that you will relax through in your treatment. The first sensation is when a needle enters the skin. Again, you may not feel this at all, but a tiny prick right when the needle enters your skin is totally common. It should feel something like plucking a single hair, not like getting a bee sting or a shot. It should not be nearly that intense, and it will go away in just a second or two. Then when the needle hits the acupuncture point, then you can get some really interesting sensations. In Chinese medicine, we call this big energy or Da Qi. It's a little bit of a misconception that acupuncture is explained as painless, and while it shouldn't be painful, it's not necessarily a sensationless experience. We want you to feel things happening during your session, just like any good treatment. So often when the needle hits the acupuncture point, you might get a dull aching sensation. That's the most common feeling people get. Sometimes it can feel hot or cold. The needle might feel light or heavy, itching or tingling. There's a lot of interesting sensations that can come. Overall, if you qualify that feeling as a weird or uncomfortable sensation, that's where the gold is with acupuncture. We really like descriptive words like, wow, that's really weird, or that's really uncomfortable. It's a good sign that acupuncture is working. That feeling will usually go away within a few minutes. Once in a while, it might last your whole session, and if you're really lucky, it might last until the next day. After all of the needles are placed, then the acupuncturist is going to leave the room, and this is where the real magic of healing can happen. So while you're alone in your session, most people will find that they slip into a deeply euphoric state. Just sort of a half awake, half asleep state where you're drifting in and out of dreaming and daydreaming. It's a really pleasant space. In this space, you may find that you naturally hang out in this space for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, sometimes an hour. And then when you're finished with your acupuncture session, you're going to naturally wake up and feel really energized, like you've had a great nap. Or waking up naturally in the morning without an alarm, and you'll just be energized. This brings us to the next part of the treatment, which is communicating with your acupuncturist once they've stepped out of the room. Each client will be given a little button that you can click if you need anything during your session. It's really important once you're situated and the needles are in that you stay as still as you possibly can. Moving a little is okay, but you can't move a lot. So of course, as soon as we walk out of the room, Your nose will itch, your foot will hurt, you'll get cold. There's a million different things that can happen once you're in session, and we want you to really relax into your process. So if any of those things happen, click your button. I promise we will come scratch your nose. We will put a blanket on you if you're cold. We'll pull a needle out if it needs. We will do anything we can to help you adjust so that you can really relax into the treatment rather than sitting in a room and having any kind of discomfort. Your healing will be really optimized. The more comfortable you are and the more comfortable you feel communicating with us, the better your session will be. And this brings us to the final conclusion of the treatment, which is ending your session. One of the things that is the most unique about our clinic is we do not necessarily time your acupuncture treatments. Everybody is allotted a 1-hour session. However, sometimes they might be shorter and they might be a little bit longer. It's really common for people to fall asleep and feel like they've had a 5-hour nap, wake up feeling rejuvenated, click their button, and I come in and it's only been 5 minutes. But if you feel like you've had a 5-hour nap, then the magic's been done. Occasionally, most people will fall asleep for about 45 minutes. That's the average. And occasionally people may sleep for 90 minutes, and once in a while we've even had someone stay asleep for up to 2 hours before. Usually we'll come and get you at the 2-hour mark if we haven't heard from you. Once in a while, we do have a few people that do not love acupuncture. They really love the results, but they don't go into this relaxed phase. And if that doesn't happen, that's okay. You'll still get a lot of benefit from acupuncture. I recommend, if after we step out of the room, if you feel yourself going into distress or stress for any reason, end your session immediately if there isn't something we can fix. So occasionally we've had people that felt claustrophobic or weren't comfortable being alone in a room, and so they just ended their session. We've had young children that can't sit still for more than 5 minutes, and so that's sort of the ideal treatment time for younger people. There's a million different reasons that you may not be comfortable during your session. So if we can fix it and we can help you to be comfortable, that's what we really want to do. We want to help you get comfortable so you can relax. And if that's not possible, just end your session. And then the other potential is just sitting and waiting. Occasionally people will feel comfortable, but they're not going into the deeply relaxed phase. If that happens, 10 to 15 minutes with the needles is totally enough. You don't need to sit there any longer. So when you're finished with your session, for whatever reason you're finished, whether you wake up naturally feeling great, if you're just waiting to end your session, or if you feel distressed, click your button and then we'll come in as soon as we possibly can. And that brings us into our after session care. After your session, there's a few things that you can do to enhance the effects of your treatment. Once you leave, you can live your normal, regular life. There's nothing wrong with that. I do suggest avoiding any strenuous activity that is outside of your normal. This will greatly reduce the benefits of your treatment. So, for instance, if you're a football player and you go play football and that's your normal, totally fine. However, if you've been struggling with walking and have a lot of pain in your knees and you walk feeling great, don't go on a hike. That might be a little bit much for the first session. A few sessions in, we can start testing that kind of a thing. Otherwise, just keep your activity to your normal, and I recommend honoring your body. A lot of times when people leave, you may feel just a little more fatigued, especially your first handful of treatments while your body is really processing the healing that you've gone through. And sleep is such an important part of medicine, so your body might be telling you to go and sleep. And if that's the message you're getting, honor that. But if you leave and you're feeling really energetic, feel free to do any of your normal activities. There's not a right or a wrong thing when you're honoring the signals that your body's giving you. Additionally, make sure to drink a lot of water, just enough that your urine runs clear, just a little bit, not too much. That'll help make sure that any of the toxins that were released during your session will pass out of your body and they don't go settling somewhere else. You may want to avoid really heavy foods like Thanksgiving type meals after your first session or your first few sessions. Avoid alcohol. These things can really hinder the healing process. And if you're feeling sore or tired, I highly recommend a warm bath with Epsom salts. That's a wonderful way to end an acupuncture day.